Calon FM on 105 FM. Community radio at its best.
Well, there you go. Eddie Grant. Wonderful. I loved Eddie Grant back in the day. Wonderful. Brilliant. Give me up, Joanna. And what was the other one? The other one? Electric Avenue. That was another one of my favourites. I loved it. I love a bit of reggae. I love a little bit of Eddie Grant. Anyway, here we go. Fans of the X Factor, do me a favour. Cast your minds back now to 2007 when we had the brother and the sister act. Same difference. They were, of course, Sean and Sarah Smith. You remember them? You're having problems nailing down that year. They came third to Leon Jackson and the opera singer Ridian Roberts. You remember him? Well, fast forward now nearly a decade since then. You can't believe it, can you? And Sarah has formed her own music academy in their hometown of Portsmouth. And Sean has just launched a solo career with the release just yesterday of his first single, Turn Me On. And anybody in the Wrexham area who went to the pantomime Aladdin at our local Stute Theatre last December, they will have remembered Sean and Alex Reid, of course, performing in our local pantomime. But I caught up with Sean midweek to find out how life's been treating him since last Christmas, and pretty much from the offset, it sounded like this incredibly upbeat star had plenty to be positive about.
Yeah, top dollar. It's been really good. Bit of a whirlwind since I last saw you. I wouldn't believe I'd be in this situation in a million years. But,
Yeah.
It's all happy days. I was excited when I heard from you to say that you was up for doing an interview. So
Excellent. Anyway, I was going to say, actually, the last time I spoke to you was in December, just before you played Aladdin, wasn't it, at the Stute?
Yeah, and then everything's sort of gone from strength to strength. It's mad, really. Then I got my tour, and then all of a sudden, I'm signed and I'm releasing a single. It just blows my mind of what a difference a year can make. You know what I mean?
It is, isn't it? Because just to look at the situation, I thought that was always going to be the plan for you. I mean,
yeah,
it looked like that.
I never figured that out. I always thought, I'll do whatever I can, to sort of like milk same difference for all it's worth.
Yeah,
but
of course.
There comes a time when you just got to kind of like,
Yeah.
I think that was the beginning of it, really, at the Stute, because that was the first time ever I've done a panto without my sister. So, it kind of like set the ball rolling down a solo route, And
So had you not worked as an actor before that then?
Not on my own, no. Apart from before we ever did the X Factor, I did it all on my own.
Right.
And I was sort of building away. Funnily enough, when we actually went for the X Factor in the first place, I went up as solo, and Sarah just came to sort of support me, and she was the one that the cameras loved more. I suppose it was because she was at Talia Conti at the time.
Right.
And, she was sort of like so full of energy and everything from performing every day and being part of that world that they kind of like the cameras really honed in on her and got her to audition,
Yeah.
So it's mad how it all worked. And then I went in and got told no. And then Sarah went in and got told no. And they said, but would you be willing to go together? We've never even sung together before at that point.
Oh,
they just put us through. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts.
So who asked you to sing together?
Actually, it was one of the runners from the X Factor.
Oh, right. So it wasn't like Simon Cowell or something?
Well, as I said, Sarah was ever so sort of smiley and likeable in the queue. And they sort of, one of the runners sort of said, come on, do you want to come through and do audition now? And we were like, yeah, that's brilliant, because there was thousands of people in the queue.
Yeah.
They sort of took us forward. We thought, hello, we're in here, And then, as I say, I went in first. They told me no, and then Sarah went in and said no. So it was actually one of the runners.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name now, but he was a really nice, smiley guy. That's all I remember. And ever since then, he was like the one that championed us because he knew that he was the one who kind of made the group star. It's just shocking that I can't remember his name. Lovely guy he was.
Well, it's a bit of a shame you can't remember his name because he's got a lot to answer for, hasn't he, really?
I know, absolutely, yeah. Well, an awful lot to answer for. Not only that, he would always sort of like rile us up before we went on TV, so I blame him for some of the stuff for making me look a bit stupid at times. He was always like, come on, guys, you guys are really happy, aren't you? Yeah, come on, let's get excited. And we used to go in like off the walls feeling like we were absolutely buzzing, It made us look loons. But, it's one of the things that was the charm about Same Difference back in the day. So, I won't take any of that away now.
And at first, when it first started, and Cal referred to you as something like the most annoying people he'd ever met or something.
it was madness. I mean, that comment that he made about, you know, us being two of the most annoying people, that was in our first ever audition. That's something that will always stick with us. We'll never get away from that, because even to this day, people go, oh, yeah, you're them annoying too, aren't you? It's amazing how when Simon Cowell says one word, people hang on it forever. And,
they do.
You know, in many ways, it was one of those things as well where he kind of had to eat his words, because when he ended up signing us, you know, he couldn't think it was that annoying if he wanted us on as part of his label, you know. But, I mean, you know, it never in my wildest dreams did I think we'd get all the way to the final, and it's something, you know, some of the memories that I'll treasure for the rest of my life. One thing that we did get to do, which I thought was amazing, was what they call a homecoming, and when we got to the final, they lined all the streets of Portsmouth in the Guildhall, which is where I'm from, and I'll never forget that day as long as I live. There were thousands of people lining the streets. And you know, the whole of the Guildhall, which holds 2,500, was absolutely packed full. And then it was like the hottest ticket in town. You know, I'll never forget it. And to go home and have that much support and that much love from everybody just meant everything to us. You know, so getting to the final was worth it just for those memories. You know.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've always thought, like, when you're watching it, the way that some of the contestants are treated, it's quite bad. But I always think about their parents. How did your mum and dad take it?
Yeah, it's you know, it all of a sudden made it stressed the whole family out in a weird way. Yeah, I bet. Because I think they kind of like the fact that me and Sarah would just go and do gigs, and you know, they could come along and have drinks, and you know, and my granddad in particular, he always used to play the sort of CDs, well, mini discs it was back in the day that we used to use, and he always used to play them, and I used to get him a round of applause at the end of the night, go on, Grand, and everyone used to love it. And to all of a sudden go from that to they can't walk, you know, we can't walk down the street without anyone sort of recognising us, and you know, all the implications that had on them. And not only that, the X Factor runners would ask for a lot of them, you know, like, can you dish out a load of old pictures and stuff, and they'd forever be having to sort of be at their beck and call while they were trying to do all their normal jobs and everything, you know. So it put a lot of stress on them. But at the same time, they wouldn't change it for the world. And my dad in particular, he's so proud when he's out, you know, I'm the same difference as Dad, you know, and stuff like that. He always just, so it was worth it just for those sort of feelings. But it puts a lot of strain on everybody. But our Nana, she used to take it so seriously because she would hate all those nasty things he was saying. But you know, we all knew that it was part of a TV show, and we, you know, you put yourself in that situation in the first place. You know that you're going to get judged. And obviously, you know, life can't be rosy. You know, there's always, in any walks of life, you're going to take the rough with the smooth, and that's what we always did.
Do they sort of help you deal with, well, the fame part of it?
That was one of the things that I found probably the most disappointing. I probably really shouldn't say this on radio. I remember literally the biggest night of our life was the X Factor final, obviously, and it was the pinnacle of our career and the pinnacle of everything, you know, we've ever done. And all the way through, it was like continually loads and loads of stuff. And then all of a sudden it got to the final, we came third, and obviously it was the most disappointing outcome that we could have possibly had, so we were distraught. And then the very next day we kind of thought, wow, what now then? Are they going to send us off to do more you know, to a press call? Are they going to send us off to, you know, This Morning maybe, or keep things going? And they said, you can just go home. And we were like, what? And they were like, yeah, well, can someone come pick you up maybe?
Really?
Like, wow. And then literally, because that obviously that week it was all about the winner. So everything that was geared up for Leon Jackson and his single release that was due to sort of fight for the Christmas #1 spot. You know, so it was crazy, really, that all of a sudden it was like you're on the biggest. You know, you're playing to 22.5 million viewers, I think it was, in the final, and then the next day you're just sent off to your own devices. It was a bit difficult. Imagine being that famous and then having to get on the tube and get a train down. But at the same time, like, I'll always champion everything to do with the X Factor, because it really did make our career.
But I think there was a comedian on the TV, and he said that everybody, like, on the X Factor, they're too famous to get the tube, but not rich enough to get taxis. Which is quite
I'm trying to vouch for that in many ways.
It's quite an awkward situation to be in, isn't it, really? So what's the plan with the solo? I mean, are you sort of aiming it at the people who like Same Difference, or are you... you're open to branch out a little bit.
I mean, one thing that we were really careful with when we were doing this record is that we didn't want to alienate the Same Difference fans. It was really important to make sure it wasn't so far removed from what we were doing that they didn't want to come along on the journey with me, because they're the people that have, you know, been my bread and butter for all these years, ever since X Factor. So, you know, we wanted to make sure that we kept them on board.
Yeah.
Having said that, you know, now that I'm a solo artist, I can sing about things, you know, that maybe I couldn't have done with when I was singing with my sister. We always used to sing about, you know, the sun's always shining in Same Difference world, and, you know, things are sweet, we're all having a good time. But, you know, now I can be a bit more edgy with some of the things that I sing about. You know, I can sing about love without even thinking about it. Yeah. Or you know, anything sexy as well, you know. Yeah.
Well, just looking at the new video, it's... I mean, it's obviously very raunchy, to say the least. But was that kind of intentional to go completely the opposite way?
I'd like to say part of that isn't my doing, but I kind of wanted to completely set myself apart from what we were doing with Same Difference, because I kind of have to, because otherwise, unless I do something that's a little bit, you know, extraordinary, it's just going to sort of like just fall by the wayside. So, you know, this whole story about, you know, going a little bit edgier is a lot better for me. I had to, but yeah, it was so much fun filming it, I'll tell you. We had such a laugh, and I think it's come out really, really well. So if any of your listeners haven't seen it, then make sure you do, because it's an eye-opener.
Well, I'll post it on my Facebook page as well, so anybody that hasn't seen it yet, they can have a good look. And is there an album as well?
Most definitely, yeah. I mean, at the moment we're working on it. It's one of those things where it's going to take time, obviously, because we haven't got all the tracks ready yet. Mm. But I've got a second single that's hopefully going to come out before Christmas. If not, it'll be slightly after Christmas. And then I've got the album coming out. It'll probably be early next year at some point. So it's all very, very busy in my world at the moment. I've also got Pantone Liverpool, which I know is relatively close to you guys. It's with the same company as last year, so you know, that might be somewhere that people can get to. That's going to be great fun.
Which theatre in Liverpool?
Studio time. The Epstein.
Oh, right, yeah.
For a second, I was going to say the Empire, because I did that in the in That's Entertainment tour this year. That's another thing. I've been on tour this year, which has been fantastic. It's just been non-stop.
What was that all about, that?
It was a 30s, 40s and 50s show, and it was with the likes of Jay McDonald and the Overtones and Ruthie Henshaw. It's been fantastic. We've been all over the place and on the go since April, pretty much. And what a year it's been. It's been probably the best year I've ever had since the year of the X Factor, I'd say. Purely because I've had a chance, you know, and I've sort of rolled with these opportunities, and it all seems to be going really well.
Fantastic. And how does it come about anyway? Did you approach them, or did they come to you with an idea, or what?
It was madness. Funnily enough, it all started really at the Shoot last year, because Alex Reid was in the pantomime with me, as you well remember.
I do, yeah.
It was fantastic, the interview that he did with you. His management came to watch the show, and they just really liked me. And anyway, they took me off. At first I thought it was someone playing a prank, because I thought never in a million years are a label going to get in touch with me and want to do a single and an album. And it turned out it was all legit, and I put them onto my management, and it all just went from there. It's just been just lucky, you know, luck of the draw. But I also think, you know, I have worked really hard, and I've managed to sort of like build a decent name for myself. There are a million people who can do the same things as me. I mean, you know, I always try my best, and as I say, doors seem to be opening now, and it's been a long time coming. The sky's the limit, you just never know.
Yeah, fantastic. And maybe you could have Sarah supporting you, that would be fun.
Oh, I don't know about that, that'll give it too much. I mean, she's doing fantastically at the moment, by the way. She bought a church last year, and she's turned it into...
she did what?
Dance studios. I know, she bought a church to turn into dance studios, which is her new company, SD Studios, and she's got 100 kids now.
Fantastic.
Brilliant. And it's really one of her things, you know. She wants to give back for one, but also she wants to create the stars of the future. I think she's very much sort of nesting now, you know, and she wants to settle down and you know, and do amazingly with the company. And, you know, she's just got so much heart for things like that, whereas, you know, I've always just wanted to be on the stage. And the brilliance of it is we're brother and sister, and you never know, it might come back round and it might feel right for Sarah and I to get back together. Never discount it, because if it feels right, it's always something we can come back to, because we're brother and sister. But at this moment in time, I think we need to leave the past in the past. Yeah. But watch this space, I'd say.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, listen, mate, it's always a pleasure to speak to you. Absolutely.
You too, Andy, always.
All the best with this single. Do you want to introduce the song for us?
I'd absolutely love to. It gives me great pleasure to introduce my brand new song. I'm Sean Smith, and this is Turn Me On.
It's like a vision when I see you dance, and we're alone together. I found religion when you hold my hand. I could follow you forever. Stay until the morning comes. Then every time I think we're getting closer, just when all the fun's begun, you start the game all over. You twist it and turn it, you kiss it and run it to turn me on. You get my heart drumming, 'cause I know you're coming to turn me on. You take off while my engine is burning to turn me on. I get up thinking you'll be returning to turn me on. Yeah, I like it when I'm in the dark, where I don't know where I've got you. I can't fight it when you spin my heart. It's what makes me crazy about you. Stay until the morning comes. Every time I think we're getting closer, just when all the fun's begun, you start the game all over. You twist it and turn it, you kiss it and run it to turn me on. You get my heart drumming, 'cause I know you're coming to turn me on. You take off while my engine is burning to turn me on. I get up thinking you'll be returning to turn me on. I will play with you, baby. I'm going nowhere, so keep it coming. 'Cause one day soon I think maybe I'm the one who turns you on. You twist it and turn it, you kiss it and run it to turn me on. You get my heart drumming, 'cause I know you're coming to turn me on. You take off while my engine is burning to turn me on. I get up thinking you'll be returning to turn me on. I will play with you, baby. I'm going nowhere, so keep it coming. 'Cause one day soon I think maybe I'm the one who turns you on.
Calon FM on 105 FM. Community radio at its best.
So there you go, Sean Smith from what? I'm going to call him One Direction again here. Same difference, giving us a really interesting insight into backstage at the X Factor. Really one of the nicest lads you're likely to meet is Sean Smith, and that was his brand new single, Turn Me On, and it's ready to download now on iTunes. And as he says, he's coming to the Epstein Theatre this Christmas in Liverpool, appearing in Panso with Atomic Kittens, Natasha Hamilton. Ooh, get in. All right, yeah, so may I say as well, happy birthday to Sean. After I tell you a sort of lad I'm dealing with here, right? After I'd had about a half-hour chat with him on Tuesday night, he then went on to talk to my daughter for about 10 minutes on the phone as well. That's the kind of star we're dealing with here, ladies and gentlemen. Download his single now if you would like. It is out there, and you can buy it right now. Right, here's a bit of the quote. Here's their brand new one. It's called That's a Fact. This is good and all.